Hey everyone, it's been a while. As we're approaching phase 4 in Wrath the Lich King, a lot of people have surely leveled a bunch of alts that are just sitting there. Myself, I have a total of 11 80s, and I'm sure that's not even that much. One thing you can do with these alts is leveling cooking to 350 and do the cooking quest every day. It's actually surprisingly good gold. Now, you might be thinking that it's going to be really slow and expensive to level cooking on all your characters, but both of those things are false. It's fast and insanely cheap. I think it cost me around 60 gold to get from 1 to 350 per character. But I'll come back to that. Now, just in case you didn't know, you need to do the cooking daily to get the spices for the best food buffs, which of course everyone uses for raiding. Now let's do the quick math and see how much gold this farm actually makes us. There are 5 total daily cooking quests, 4 of them gives 1 Epicurean award and 1 gives 2. On top of that, the little bag you get has about a 50% chance to give you another Epicurean award and an average of 3 spices or so. If we average things out, that's about 1.9 cooking awards per day per character, which is equal to about 22 spices per character per day. Remember, there's some spice in the bag as well. Now, each spice is worth about 2 gold on Gehennas as of this video's making. However, if you actually use your food to cook stuff, if you actually use your spice to cook food, I mean, you can make way more gold, giving you another gold extra per spice or so. This means that we will get a total of maybe 3 gold per spice, or about 82 gold per character per day. That's pretty good for a quest which only takes about 2.5 minutes in total. Since I have 11 characters with cooking at 350 or more, I'll make almost 900 gold in 25 minutes. The fastest cooking quest takes only about a minute and the slowest one is upward to 3.5 minutes. If we average things out, that makes this farm about 2000 gold per hour. I'll give you a quick overview of the route I took. I mostly follow this guide with some deviation. As a horde, you'll need recipes from Undercity, Arathi Highlands, Tanaris, Veralas, Sangor March and Nagrand. I'll make a separate video for leveling cooking 1 to 450 with way more details if you just want someone to tell you exactly what to do without having to think at all. I'll also just post, some images so you can pause the video and gather the materials. But anyway, moving on. Next up, let's look at the fastest way to get the cooking dailies done. First of all, make sure to have your Hearthstone set to your factions in. Second of all, you want to stack up on the required crafted items beforehand. 4 out of 5 quests requires a few crafted items. 2 of these quests requires either 2 or 4 chilled meats. 1 requires 4 northern stews, which is made from chilled meat. 1 requires 4 rhino dogs and 1 doesn't require any food at all. So if you mail out 60 chilled meat, 40 northern stews and 40 rhino dogs, you should have enough materials for 50 days if the quests are given equally often, and I think they're just random, so it should work out. And all of these items cost like 2 silver each, by the way. Now, as for the actual quest objectives, Convention at the Lager Domain Inn is the fastest one by far. It takes about a minute. You run into the wine shop and you grab a jug of wine, and then you run into the neutral inn and turn it in. I like to run back to the cooking quest NPC once done, just to be ready for the next day. And we're done, by the way. Infused mushroom meatloaf is the slowest one, taking about 3.5 minutes or so. You run into the sewers, check for mushrooms directly to the right, and then run into the main hall. Along the edges of the room is usually where they're found. Once you've gathered 4, you run up again and head into this house. You run up the stairs, make a cooking fire, craft infused meatloaf and turn it in. And then next you just hearthstone back to your factions inn and run to the quest NPC. Cheese for glow or gold, it usually takes about 2.5 minutes or so. You grab the half empty wine glasses from your factions inn, you run into the wine and cheese shop to grab the cheese, you run to the place where you turn it in, make the fire, craft the item, turn it in, then hearthstone back and run to the quest NPC. Sewer stew is actually faster than you might think, taking about 2.5 minutes despite being done outside of Dalaran. So you want to grab the quest and then run to the teleport crystal and then fly over to the little ruin over here. you grab your 4 carrots and then you fly back to the crystal and go back into Dalaran. Run into the cellar through the second opening and head to the NPC. Craft a fire over there, craft the item, turn it in, and then you hearthstone back and run to the quest NPC. Mustard Dogs is the best one by far. It takes about 1.5 minutes and it gives 2 Epicurean awards plus the potential bonus award from the small spice bag. Run out the inn into the middle of Dalaran around the fountain. There are almost always 2 mustards here. And then you run over to Krasa's Landing and pick the other 2. You make a fire by the quest NPC, you craft the item and you turn it in. Next you just fly back to the quest NPC. Now, when it comes to actually crafting food, I usually do it every other day or on Sundays and Wednesdays when most guilds are raiding and the prices of raid consumables normally peaks. Now, although almost everyone grabs the Fish Feast buff, you basically only need a single stack of those for an entire 25-man raids, so they sell way less than you might expect. The one selling the most is always the spiced mammoth treats. Hunters and warlocks use a lot of them. Once per wipe and once each time their pet dies, which is like 50% of the time. They die a lot. I also like to craft the strength fish and agility fish and just a few hit fishes. Generally, any feast or food that uses fishes is gonna be the cheapest one because, you know, fish butters. Now, the last one is usually a great profit, meaning the hit fish, but it usually doesn't sell that much. Also in the next phase, the armor penetration food might start selling as well. All of the receipts for these items are bought with the Epicurean awards and requires 400 in cooking skill, except for the feast requiring 450. So if you actually want to craft the food, you'll have to max out cooking or at least get it to 400 on at least one character. But that was pretty much everything for this video. I hope you found this interesting. Make sure to click the like and subscribe buttons. I'll probably be back soon with another video, and until then, see ya.